Okay. There are things I want to share from Avos, which we will learn from time to time in these weeks. But I do want to continue. Yesterday I had a thought that we had to stop for Mincha, but I want to share something.
Oh, thank goodness.
I was talking yesterday about my Rebbe, whose yahrzeit was last week. There are things we're zeicher to see in our Rebbe on a day-to-day and experience. Those are very important aspects. The things we experience matter to me a lot. In the world of Hasidus was all about the experience. It was one of the things they valued a lot, the early Rebbes, and very important to human experience. Because it's hard for us to tap into our soul and our essence of who we are, what you experience and how you experience matters. I love Shalashuddis and have a much deeper experience than I could articulate. I actually want to learn what's going on. I feel Shalashuddis and experience something that's like wild. Now, I'd love to study it and share it with other people, and I see like glimmers in Svarim at the end of Shabbos is the most Kedusha. I'd like to learn about it, but without even knowing about it, I have experiences then that are unique. And experiences matter a lot. And with my own Rebbe, there were a lot of experiences much deeper than I can, in matter of fact, I'm mentioning Shalashuddis. My first love of Shalashuddis was like my most precious time with my Rebbe. So there are things you experience in your Rebbe and with your Rebbe. And yesterday I spoke about something about my Rebbe's independence with loyalty to Messiah. That was an experience. That wasn't something that I heard about. Being close to him, he brought out, what do you think? He cared a lot, and he dared you to say your opinion. He wanted, what do you hold? What? And he would even give jobs in Musar. He'd have guys come up, and I actually don't do it enough, and I try not to imitate my Rebbe, to be inspired, not imitate. He actually gave us homework assignments where we had to present, because he challenged us. Who are you? What do you hold? And my Rebbe was very, very much independent and had a unique flair and flavor, all the while being loyal to Messiah. That I experienced that in him. The next thing I want to share today about my Rebbe is something that I wasn't zeicher to experience this. It's only I'm having the time, and obviously this year I've thought a lot about my Rebbe, and I'm having the time to look at his life. I'm not the authority. I'm not the person who has the right to say my Rebbe's story. I can only point out an observation that hits me, but I don't have the right on his story, and I wasn't there when this was going down. I'm only sharing what hits me. When in being close to my Rebbe, you were observed that he had three massive influence in his life. I'm going to call it three Rebbeim. It's three, you could call it five. I'm going to explain what I mean, three that are five. Shalish that are five. He had three Rebbeim that are sort of five Rebbeim. I want to explain that, Aviad. My Rebbe's first Rebbe was his father. His father was a massive Rebbe to him. I watch guys here, they don't know. I watch Aviad, his father is a Rebbe to him. I watch Avi, your father's a Rebbe. Guys don't understand this enough. My parents and my Rebbe, my father, my mother were my first Rebbeim in many ways. Guys don't always understand. They're afraid to say it. They don't always chap it. Guys are looking for Rebbeim. Your parents are Rebbeim for you in a very sincere way, and you picked up. They're your parents. They'll see Rebbeim, and they taught you and taught big things. My Rebbe's first father was his father. First, I'm saying, I can't even say the word straight. My Rebbe's first Rebbe, there's like Rebbe, father, Rebbe going on here. But my Rebbe's, thank you, now I'm determined. My Rebbe's first Rebbe was his father.
How are you? Nailed it, bro.
His father had learned in Slobodka. His father was a Rav in a community that was mostly not from. Most of the community were not Shomer Shabbos. I'll tell you how extreme. He was a Rav in Ozone Park in Queens. My Rebbe's father did not have a minyan Friday night on purpose because he felt people would drive to shul. Now, there were people who drove Shabbos day, but at least he could ask them to walk Shabbos day. Friday night, there was no possibility they were going to walk, so he didn't have a minyan. He would daven alone in the shul with the kids. Only the kids in the community were invited Friday night, and the Rav would daven with the kids. The kids would walk. There's a Rosh Yeshiva in America. One of the Rosh Yeshivas of Scranton was one of these children who used to daven with my Rebbe's father. I was zeicha to meet my Rebbe's father. A schus I had as a youngster, I met my Rebbe's father. My eyes looked at him. He was a very, very big tzaddik. And he was the first Rebbe of my Rebbe. My Rebbe actually his father took him out of school in 7th, 8th grade because the kids were not shomer Torah mitzvahs. He felt it wasn't for him. And his father literally taught him. His father was a Rav of a community that was people that we Yidden were pretty distant. Very, very beautiful person his father was. Loved Yidden. Was somebody who respected all Yidden, respected Goyim also. I saw in my Rebbe one on Haga that was clear to me that it came from his father. My Rebbe respected every Goy. Goy was respected. Guys, see, we have a janitor in Yeshiva, Alan. Alan, I can't say, I don't know his salary, maybe $250 a month. Now, we give him food and board. Alan gives me $100 a month for the yeshiva, to use for the yeshiva. He gives, I don't know too many people who give almost half of their earnings, I promise you.
Definitely
Gives,
something shady.
amazing, isn't that amazing?
No, I'm saying definitely something shady, but that's amazing. I love
You
it.
know why? You know why he's holy? Because he's around you, because he's around guys in yeshiva.
Well, he treats us like we're like people. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
we look at the
he's
guys.
amazed. He's amazed by the guys here. It's impacted him. He's described to me what the yeshiva's done for him, and he wants to give back. My point, my Rebbe respected people tremendously. Everybody, the post office worker. He didn't like, people were like, and you saw that. We experienced that. That was part of my experience. I believe, I can't prove that, I believe that was from his father. Things he told us about his father, there was a dignity to every person. He was mechabed people. One of the biggest questions we're asked in our life is Himlachtecha chavercha. Did you treat your friend with respect? Certainly a Yid, a guy as well. It's a Mishnah, Chavivin Adam Shenivra B'Tselem. My Rebbe was very, very much mechabed people, and I believe he got that from his father. I saw Goyim. A guy was fixing in yeshiva cap, and I saw these interactions. It was not a forced thing. He didn't overlook people. He would ask questions. The post office guy was a human being he was curious about. There was what to learn from him. There was what to be interested. It wasn't the gather of humoring. I pointed this out. I was driving last night back to the airport, driving my son to the airport, and I was like engaging in the toll booth worker. I was saying hello to they first check out. I promise you could watch. Usually, they want to see if you're friendly. They want to see if you're humoring them. They're like looking down, counting the change, and you're being friendly. They look up, and they say, are you playing with me? Because plenty of people will toy with them and say stupid stats. You know, the most suicide. Just, there's a person here, a human being, who's here. Like, might have a husband, might have a child, probably for sure has a mother. There's a person here, a human being here, a human being here. And my Rebbe was curious. People had a place and a value. It was not a forced chill like he was mechabed, give some covered. People were mechubadim. People were respected. So that he got from his father, and that was his first Rebbe, was his father. His father taught him also, this vart, to have your own opinion, was something he learned from his father. He wrote a book about his father. It's called Righteousness Endures. It's a beautiful book about his father. It's interesting, and this was a quirk of my Rebbe. My Rebbe's father had miracles surrounding him. I've heard from Talmidim, I know miracle stories. My Rebbe in the book did not publish one miracle story about his father, and my Rebbe did not like when people said over miracle stories. He felt they didn't teach anybody anything, and he wrote a book about his father. His father very much would ask him, Yechiel, what do you hold? That he should have his own opinions on things. So that was something, his father was his first Rebbe. His next Rebbe, my Rebbe, was Rav Aaron Cutler, the great Lakewood Rosh Yeshiva. Rav Aaron Cutler was a goyin hagoyinim. Not all Talmidei Chachamim, Tzadikim, Rabbanim are geniuses. Many are average, some are below average. There's no, I shouldn't say no correlation. It's not the vert that to be big you have to be a genius. There's no such thing. I get very upset if a Rebbe, it's very tempting when you quote something. Anybody who knows more than the other person can make himself look like a genius. If you know a little more than another person, my Rebbe's a genius. He's not a genius. He looked up Art Scroll last night. It doesn't mean he's not a smart guy. It's just, it's not a genius club. It's very dangerous. It's very.
45.
No, it's.
What was that
It's
for?
Ravez is a shtickle. It is true. It is true.
But they didn't even know the art school did. Why?
It's always tempting when you quote something. It's tempting to look up. You say the Rambam, you give one look like you're reading Rambams. No, the Rambam you look up. There's plenty. You look at the Frankel Rambam. You get Mar Mekaimis. It doesn't take genius to know Torah, and it's dangerous. Rav Aaron was a genius.
Dangerous?
It's very, because a youngster can learn. I'm not a genius. He's part of the genius club. It's nothing to do. My father would get insulted if he was called smart. If he was called smart at Eloi, he would get insulted. He was not, Rebezi knew my father, were close. He would literally get upset because he worked very hard. He was smart, but he didn't feel that was the Nakuda. He worked hard. He cared about Torah. He loved Torah. And he worked hard. He didn't. So you called him an Elu. You're like, okay, you're an Elu. I'm not an Elu. I worked hard. I care about Torah, and I studied Torah. Rav Aaron was a genius. He was a mind of the generation, like a generational mind. Anybody looks at Rav Aaron's Svarim, it takes your breath away. I try to go through pieces once in a blue moon just because it's crazy. A piece from Rav Aaron, you read a piece. I have my stender in shul. I have Rav Aaron on Kedushin. Yeah. If you go through a piece of Rav Aaron, you can't. It's like super. It's like different. It's just a mind, a generational mind. Now Rav Aaron was my Rebbe's next Rebbe. Rav Aaron's biggest chiddush. Rav Aaron came to America, and the divide, the schism, the gap between him and the American kid was astounding. When my Rebbe first met Rav Aaron, I've said this many times, he came to visit him, he put on a ring to meet Rav Aaron because he wanted to respect Rav Aaron. He put on a ring. My Rebbe was the frummest kid in America. He was from the frum home. He put on a ring to meet Rav Aaron. There should be respect for the Gadol Adar. So the divide of the American kids who learned by Rav Aaron was wide, was humongous. And Rav Aaron had good eyes. He had beautiful blue eyes, famously. And Rav Aaron, deeper than his blue eyes, understood that a Yid is a neshama. And he didn't see the divide at all. He didn't talk a lot about Europe. He had come from a world, a lost world. He had seen giants. He didn't talk about that to his Talmidim, and he connected and taught Torah. They would listen to him. Rav Aaron's shiurim were, many did not follow, but to see a Sar HaTorah, some followed. They worked hard, but they also saw a fire of Torah, and he saw neshamas, and together they changed this country. The impact on America is profound. The Lakewood impact is profound, and that was his Rebbe Rav Aaron. I saw my Rebbe's love of Torah, and he was an old man running a school with so much on his plate. He was being Mekarev, a Syrian community that he was Mekarev. He had yeshiva, he had communal dealings, he had so much on his plate, yet he sat and learned. He had a tremendous attachment to Torah, and you saw that Limud Torah, Talmud Torah, Keneged Kulam, amongst other things, an idealism for Klal Yisrael. Rav Aaron's love of our people. During the Holocaust, very few people ran around the country like Rav Aaron. Rav Aaron was on fire, running this country, anything he could do to save a Yiddish life. Rav Aaron was on fire, Yidden are dying in Europe. Rav Aaron ran, traveling on Shabbos. I mean, there was no Shabbos, Sunday, Monday. Literally, he was Pekuach Nevesh. Obviously, he was running the country, doing whatever he could to save Yiddish lives. And my Rebbe had a very big passion for Am Yisrael, for our people. I think that was, I'm sure, partly rooted in Rav Aaron. But he was a Talmud of Aaron color. Now here is where I want to express something. I did not experience this. I experienced he was a Talmud of Nevardik. That's why I said 3 Rebbeim that were 5. My Rebbe at around 26, 25, 26 got married, and his wife's grandfather's name was Rav Avram Yafin. Rav Avram Yafin was a son-in-law of the Alter of Nevardik. Now here, my Rebbe taught us Nevardik, it was Musar, and a very unusual brand of Musar. And he learned that we have one sefer from the Alter of Nevardik called Madregas Adam. I learned with that my Rebbe many times. And he taught us a lot about the world of Nevardik, which was a very fascinating, very misunderstood world, that my Rebbe was a bucky in that world. Had he come to that world, and here I did not see this or experience this in my Rebbe, I'm only now absorbing this in the last couple of years. My Rebbe's 26 years old. He's a Talmud of his Rebbe, of his father, and he's a Talmud of Rav Aaron Aviyad. So he's a Talmud Chacham, and he said, Shalom alai nafshi. And remarkably, he became a Talmud of his wife's grandfather. His wife was a granddaughter of Rav Avram Yafin, who was a son-in-law of the Alter of Nevardik, and he became a Talmud. Her grandfather was alive. He became a Talmud of her grandfather. When he was nifter, he became a Talmud of her father, his father-in-law, Reb Leib Nekritz, who was a grandson of the Alter of Nevardik. So I say 5 Rebbeim because he had his father, Rav Aaron, and then he had the 3, the Alter of Nevardik, who he was a Talmud of through Rav Ram Yafin and through Reb Leib Nekritz, the Nevardik line. Now, what I want to say, Aviad, what moves me, and I didn't experience this because I wasn't there, my Rebbe was 26, I wasn't born, but it moves me to no end that a person who already had Rebbeim, was established, was a Talmud Chacham, and he had Rebbeim Yehuda, and he was a seeker enough to take on new Rebbeim. I'm very moved by that, because the tendency of people is to feel finished. I'm finished with. This is who I am. The beauty of being around youngsters are open to grow. I watch young guys, they change, they grow, because there's a keen awareness. I don't know myself yet, okay. So I'm finding. And youngsters are willing to take on. The topic of Rebbeim is like a kid's topic. Show me people who found a Rebbe after the age of 25. I once saw a statistic of how many people start smoking after 20. It's probably the same number of people who find Rebbeim after 20. People talk, my Rebbe is typically young. Because older, even they'll still talk about the Rebbe they found when they were young, but I have already. And I think about my Rebbe at 26, he had already. He was a Talmud Chacham. And he accepted new Rebbeim that stayed with him the rest of his life. He accepted Rav Ram Yafin, who taught him the ways of the Alter. Rav Ram Yafin's nifter, he took his father-in-law as a Rebbe. He was open to learn. He was a searcher and a seeker enough to learn to study. It's something all of us, all our lives, to be open-minded. You're not like, you found yourself? By the way, in marriage, this is true. People think they know their wives. They end up making marriage stale. Marriage is an adventure. You think you know yourself? It's interesting. In the last couple of years, because of the guys, I've become Hasidish. I didn't know that was in me. I used to make fun of it. I'll be honest, I'm embarrassed. And you have to be careful what you do when you're young. I would tease the Torah, it's not pshat, and I would actually tease it. And today my soul has cravings for it. So we don't know it's a process of be open to see new parts of yourself and your spouse, by the way. Leave room for new. Don't lock in. This is it. And people have all different patterns like they know already. They lock people in. I know. I got it. Really? You got it? You see a little bit. You see a tip of the iceberg. A person's ever room to expand. Adam is the same Oisios as Ma'od, a lot. It's whatever you know, there's a lot more. It's a person is a lot. And there's tremendous koiches in a person, tremendous amounts in the shamas. And the shama is a chelik alakami mal mamish. It's a piece of Hashem. So it's endless. It's not like you have the neshama, you got yourself. There's koiches, there's abilities, there's kedusha, there's expansiveness in a person. That's tremendous. My Rebbe's willingness at 26, when people freeze, I have said it for life. He opened up. I'm very, very moved by that. And I say that us who were zeicher to be around him were changed by the new Rebbeim he got. And the Vardik was, and he kept, wasn't losing what was old, he merged. And big people are open-minded to incorporate more, to hear more, to learn more, to see more. Big people are like that, and they're open. It's a bikosh ha'emes, a search for truth, a willing to be expanded, a willing. Reb Nachman's main, if I would say one of Reb Nachman's main themes, I don't know if I don't have a right to say it, so I won't say one of his main themes. I'll say a theme that I have seen in my drip, in my morsel of exploring there, is the willingness to start something from the beginning. It's the willingness to explore, to see, to add more. I love, we're Zeiches, some B'nai Torah came to Yeshiva this man. They're rich guys. They have a lot. And there's a lot out there. But the willingness to explore and to learn. I'll tell you something interesting, Kevin. I want guys to hear this, and in this sugya of my Rebbe's willing to expand, I want you to hear this. It's very normal, any yeshiva you're in, to feel you have a secret is normal. If a guy's in Waterbury and plugged in, he feels in our base measure he has a secret. He feels he has something unique that could be here more than other places. But also be aware that other places have something you don't have. There's a secret, so to speak, in every base medrash. It's a very dangerous thing. Somebody has his yeshiva, he should be excited and fire up. But he should also be aware there's something in Chevron that all of us need. There's something in Chavetz Chaim, there's something in Chaim Berlin, there's real secrets and holiness in every base medrash. And there are ways to pick it up. It doesn't mean, sometimes we go there and sometimes we meet somebody from there. But to ever not be aware that there's secrets, what's happening? But to ever not be aware that there's something to acquire and to get and something to tap in is a big mistake. And my Rebbe's willingness to expand and to find and to dig and to expand further, that's very moving to me. That's very instructive and moving. So I want to share this. We're going to learn from Avos, and in Avos it says Aseh l'charav in the first parak. It speaks about Rav Gamliel ha'yomer Aseh l'charav. Make for yourself a Rebbe. I want to say people sometimes look that they can't find a Rebbe. A lot of times it's in the person himself, the unwillingness to expand. Rav means expansion. Rav means a Rebbe. It also means Aseh l'charav, to make yourself bigger. The willingness to be Rav, to be more, to see something new, to find something new. Ezra Garal is here, and went to learn a Passaic. I have crazy respect for that. There's a big thing, there's a Rosh Hashiva there, a Meir Stern, and he went to pick up, and I assure you, he picked up. There's tremendous Aseh l'charav. He became more expansive, and found something there. I pray, I want him, there's a Svara Yeshara. They don't waste the word, the way they learn something. I hope in the mornings I can show up a little bit. I want to be impacted by Ezra. Aseh l'charav. He expanded and was willing to expand.
What do you mean by expand? Like learn?
Find new things, not to be afraid to go out of our comfort zone.
Would you consider all your students Ravs?
What do you say?
Would you consider most of your students Ravs?
I don't have students yet, but if I have students,
If you had students, well, the people in this room right
and
now.
my friends. Have I grown from my friends tremendously?
So now you would consider us Ravs, I assume. If you're learning from us, we're learning from you.
Harbe lamati m'Rabbeis mechaveira yosmim. Yeah, sure. A person learns tremendous amount from his friends, no doubt. Is that Aseh l'charav? Probably is part of the sugya of being expansive, for sure. There's such a thing as a Rebbe is an awareness that somebody has something and I need to expand. I want to expand, I'm capable of expanding. And a person's capable of finding a new thing and developing more. Aseh l'charav. At all stages, Rav Wolbe was an old man. Rav Wolbe had a Rebbe. Rav Wolbe's Rebbe was his everything. Rav Wolbe, when people would ask him his age, would say based on when he met his Rebbe. So his Rebbe was the world to him, and yet Rav Wolbe, as an older Yid, took on another Rebbe who was younger than him, and in the world's eyes was not as big as him. And Rabbeinu Yoina writes on Aseh l'charav, even if the Rebbe is not as big as you. It's not a question of who's bigger. People have an R and tap into that R. It's not a rating of bigger. Ben Yonis is Asay L'Charav, even he's gadol than the Rav, could be. And Rav Wolbe looks like did that. Again, I don't know how to rate who's bigger. I don't know if we have those Einayim, but the world would judge that Rav Wolbe was bigger. Right.
You're greater, you can still say he's
There's an R there that was expansive for Rav Wolbe. Rav Wolbe wanted to tap into something. He felt that person had a certain light that he wanted to tap in. So Asay L'Charav is a big sugya. So I wanted to, this was just finishing off yesterday. I wanted to share this on my own Rebbe, my own person who was an expansiveness for me and my friends. I want to say, and I didn't experience this. When I was by him, I didn't see him go to another Rebbe at 26. It's only now contemplating my own Rebbe, and at the time I don't think I even chapped this. It was just he would talk about the Alta Nevardik a lot, talk about Rav Aaron and his father. When I'm thinking more about his life, I'm pretty amazed. But it's consistent with a person who was a Mivakish, who sought the truth, was interested in the truth, and willing to expand. I think it's one of the beauties of being around young people. Young people are willing to expand. People tend to get frozen. Okay, this is who I am. Don't lock in. Have things, know you have richness, and then maybe be willing to something new, something came to hear, to be opened up. Asay L'Charav. I wanted to share something at the beginning of August. It's already last Shabbos, we weren't Zeichel together, and this Shabbos we're going to start the second parak. I wanted to learn the first Mishnah in Avos, the first Mishnah, it brings from the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah. The Anshe Knesset Hagdolah, they're the ones who wrote the first Siddur. They were Nevi'im amongst the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah, the men of the Great Assembly, the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah. And Heim Amru Shloish Dvarim, they taught three things. Have a mesunim b'din, be very deliberate in judgment. Have a mesunim b'din, be very deliberate in judgment. The simple pshat of mesunim b'din, of being deliberate, is not to think hastily, not to just say something with haste. Rabbi Shapiro last year said something that I think is accurate, is to trust your own svara. The reason not to be mesunim could either be because you just don't want to think, you're lazy, or it could be not trusting of oneself. Right? Shapiro spoke of a misunim bedin, that you should trust yourself. Be very deliberate. Go through your svara. You have what to say on it. Trust your svara and be misunim. Be very deliberate in judgment. Hamidu talmidim harbe. And I want to talk about this one. Hamidu talmidim harbe had many students.
Huh? Oh, wait.
That's a very complicated Mishnah.
Kind of vague.
It means it's very vague. There's a line in Shas, Nasat Dvarech L'Shiurim. You haven't told me. It's a very sensitive topic. It's not like a funny thing to me. I had a partner who I started the yeshiva with, Rabbi Oberlander Zatzal. And he was a very special person, and he has credit in the whole yeshiva. He sunk his teeth and gave years of his life in this yeshiva, and we started it together. And Rabbi Oberlander and I had a big debate how many guys should be accepted to the yeshiva. He was very stark that over a certain number, basically probably about 100 guys, the yeshiva should not take more. He was extremely upset at me. I was the menahel and I hired him, so I had the final say. On most things I gave in. On most things I listened to him over myself. He was a very much more organized person than me, and I dare say most things I gave in because I felt his organization, he was better with running things. On this specific matter, I didn't give in. I felt that we have no right to say no to people. And I felt if a person could be helped here, it doesn't matter. And he felt it's not Mesudar 100. My father encouraged me to go with my way. The yeshiva runs in on Haganesis. I have cheshbainas, but he felt over 100. You can't give the proper attention to each guy. He had good cheshbainas, very solid cheshbainas. Why it would be more organized? Less. So we had a machlokes how many guys to have in yeshiva. Now you have a Mishnah that says have many talmidim. So we'd both point to the Mishnah, right, Oberlander? The problem is it doesn't give a number. 100's many also. So that's very strange. If Chazal say something and it's not instructive, so what it teach you? In Shas, that's called Nasata Dvarecha L'Shiurim. You haven't taught me anything. See, I have many. Yeah, okay, I'll listen to you. Where's many? Did I go too many than many? And if I can't figure out, what did you teach? Just don't have a little, but what would even a little? You haven't given me numbers. It's a frustrating Mishnah. Hamidu Talmidim Harbe. They were mitzav in this Mishnah, have many Talmidim. It's a very frustrating Mishnah because it doesn't tell you how many to have. By the way, and I don't know I'm right, Maish. Yehuda, I don't know I'm right. Perhaps you could say Pshat, and I don't say I'm right. And you're not allowed to just say anything in Torah. It's a frustrating Mishnah. It says, have many Talmidim. So one could have claimed, but I have a raya not like this, that it means have more than you think you can handle. Talmidim harbe, whatever you think you can handle, do more. But it's mivur not that way. The Rambam says that any Rebbe can only be 1 to 25. The Rambam gives rules to it. So it doesn't look like that's pshat in the Mishnah. Ezra. That would have been a valid pshat in the Mishnah. The Mishnah is saying, don't go al pi cheshbon. I mean, Talmidim harbe, but it doesn't give me a number. It means if you account that I can handle this, Talmidim harbe, means don't listen to those physical, because you don't know a person's zeicher to learn here. L'maisa, the Rambam says not that way. He gives numbers that you should have per Rebbe. He gives numbers. So I'm not saying it has to be pshat. I'm saying it's a difficult Mishnah. Hamidu Talmidim harbe. What's it saying? I have many Talmidim. You haven't given me a defined number, and so in what way have you instructed me? So the kasha is a very strong kasha. But I want to suggest Pasha Pshat in the Mishnah is I don't think it's saying a number. And I don't like, just because you hold something, it's very dangerous. Never manipulate Torah to say like you. I did not bring this Mishnah. Oberlander, it says many Talmidim. He can know that also. And who said that's the number? But I just say the Mishnah is sensitive because it talks about many Talmidim. This was a sensitive Nekuda. But I would like to say Pshat in the Mishnah, being maimed many Talmidim, is it's not telling you the number because it doesn't say a number, but it means don't have a set picture, don't have a, what's that called when people have, like when they draw, what's that called when people have a,
Drawing.
like a blueprint? There's another word for it, a stencil, like a stencil blueprint. There's another word for what? Rendering? Could be like an artist rendering. Depiction. There's another name for like a blueprint or a stencil, like a that people have like this. This is a mold, if you will, and people have a mold of the successful Talmud. I always am moved by parents and rebbeim that have all different type of successes. You can't even Revolba's Talmidim. You almost can't pick out that he's a Talmud of Revolba. You have to know a very sensitive nekuda because there's such a wide range. And I believe what Anshe Knesset Agdola was saying is Hamidu Talmidim Harbe is there's many, many types. And B'maimin many Talmidim means if you mold and you bring, if you're trying to make them you, there's only one Talmud. There's a very famous story in the Musar movement of Rabbi Yerucham getting yelled at by his Rebbe in his office. Revolba's Rebbe was Rabbi Yerucham, and the Alter was screaming at Rabbi Yerucham. Rabbi Yerucham was very charismatic, and the Alter was yelling at him, you're making Yeruchams, you're making little Yeruchams. That let people be and let people find themselves. The worst part about Waterbury is that there's room for people. When a guy's chirping or speaking inappropriate, it's so frustrating. It's the worst part about Waterbury is there's room for people, and it's the best part about Waterbury that there's room for people. And there's really room for somebody. There's really room. And it's the worst because it can be hard that there's really room for people. So a guy can scream and say there's really room for people. He's allowed to be. He's allowed to be and he's a right to be. There's room for people. And Amidu Talmidim Harbe means that don't crush, don't mold, don't make in one way. Amidu Talmidim Harbe, stand up, see people, make room for people, and then within people find their art, their light, their art that they have for the world. is Hamidu Talmidim Harbe is not speaking about a number of Talmidim. However, if there are 10 Talmidim, so Hamidu Talmidim Harbe means B'maimid 10 Talmidim. It means that there's not one mold. There's not one type. They're all different people with a different light to bring. Hamidu Talmidim Harbe. Make sure that nobody's crushed into one thing. They're different types with different lights to bring, with different capacities, with different things to bring to the world. That's the Anshe Knesset Agdol U'Mitzvah, Hamidu Talmidim Harbe.
That's the shot.
I think so. To be maimed many Talmidim, to stand up many Talmidim, to be maimed many, that they're all different types and kinds and lights to bring. Rav Wolbe was miyuchad on this. His Talmidim was such a wide range. I saw that in my own Rebbe, that his Talmidim have quite a range. Where is Talmid? You're a Talmud. Like, oh my gosh, you're not so similar. He was not crushing people. There was space for the person, a big space, and it's really allowing the space for each person. And then from that, says Amidu Talmidim Harbe. There should be many types of Talmidim. It's a very special thing on the Beis Medrash that there are many types. Come out, you're a Talmud. You both Talmidim, Hamidu Talmidim Harbe. There's many types. Each one has its own That's a big inyan that Anshe Knesset Agdol taught Hamidu Talmidim Harbe. I wanted to, on the first topic we discussed. On the first topic we discussed about even after you have to know there's more out there. My Rebbe's courage to learn from a new Rebbe. I want to say to somebody, and the art of our own journeys. We each have Messiah, and it's beautiful to have a Rebbe, but also to learn, to nash, to take. I don't think things are by accident. We live in a world. There was whole generations where people didn't know the Torah of other communities. Svardim had their Torah and they weren't aware of others. Other people didn't have access to their tzaddikim, they didn't have access to others. Hasidim. Today we see a kibbutz golius. People are learning each other's Torah. People know each other's rabbanim. The world has become much smaller. Through all different means, the world has become smaller. And the Mishnah says a line, Yosef ben Yezer Israel and Yosef ben Yochanan Shushalayim Kiblu Mehem. One was the Nasi, one was the Abezdin. And Yosef ben Yezer said, Yebeischa beitzvad l'chachamim. Your house should be a meeting place for chachamim. Now the simple pshat is to have tzaddikim in the house. That's a big inyan. It's a big inyan. Person's house. Yebeischa beitzvad l'chachamim. Person's house, your house should be a house, a meeting place. The problem is the Moetzes is not going to everybody's house. So it's not always biyadenu. And the Mishnah says your house should be a beis vad l'chacham, a meeting place. So we certainly should try to keep it kipshutai. If we can invite Reb Shmuel Kamenetsky to our house, 1,000%. Yeah, beis vad l'chacham. It should be a meeting place, a big schus. For a person to host the tzaddik is a schus gadol, is a tremendous schus. So certainly it means kipshuta. A person's house, the house of tzaddik is a big deal for a person. And the pashtus yebeischa beisvad l'chachamim. Your house should be a meeting place for chachamim. Your house is very connected. I say we only don't value gashmias because we're so megushim. Your house is very connected to you. Reb Tzaddik says your possessions have a shirish in your neshama. This week's parasha, a person speaks lashon hara and his house gets saras. Your house is before a person. It says bayis ploini leploini. A house is very connected to you. It's your house. Yes, your clothing. These have deep shrashim in a person. It's only because we're so megushim we don't see the value of gashmis. I mean by that is we see ourselves as body. So my orange juice is this, if I'm a body. If we saw ourselves as a soul, so my body's amazing, my orange juice, these are all gifts from Hashem. I would see my body, wow. The stuff, the body that we have. So the house, a person's house, is a big deal. If he could have chachamim in his house, is a huge zach. And certainly it means kipshuta, yebeischa beisvad chachamim. But I think Yehuda it also means a meeting place of Chachamim means as follows, the way I see it. We all have a Messiah, and that's beautiful. Be loyal. We have tremendous ashiras from our parents, from our earlier dayers, from our yeshivas. A meeting place of Chachamim means other tzidkus and other righteous ideas are welcome here also.
Wow.
It's a meeting place of Chachamim. It doesn't lock out other idealism. It's beautiful. A guy's a Chaim Berliner. That's amazing. You know, he has a Hutner, he has big people. What a Messiah to the altar. But it doesn't mean there's a mile from Chavetz Chaim is in his house too. It's welcome here too. Your house should be a meeting place of Chachamim. Here tzaddikim, here Chacham are welcome. It's not pushed out. That house, the Lubavitch Rebbe, has beautiful things to offer. It's not cut off. It's a beis vad l'chacham. It's a meeting place of Chachamim. I think the world, Hashem, the kibbutz goliath that Hashem's accessing, and of course this has to be with intelligence. And it doesn't say not to have a Messiah, to proudly. It's a nuance because a person has nothing wrong. They're Svardim. Proud Messiah, but it's beis vad l'chachamim. Other ideas of truth, of sincerity, of emes are here as well, are appreciated, are celebrated. It's a beis vad l'chacham. It's a meeting house of chacham. It's a beauty of a house that it's loyal to a Messiah, yet a meeting place for chachamim. Truth and sincerity are welcome here. It's not stupped out. I have seen in people's batim when other truths are locked out, it's very dangerous. It even when people think there isn't truth elsewhere, that's the opposite. It's interesting because the purpose of a house is to keep out influences. That's the very nature of a house. So you're inside. You're inside. I always struggle. My wife loves eating on the porch. And I love animals, but bugs when I'm eating, like a house protects from bugs. A house is a house. So good. I have to learn to eat on the porch also and to enjoy the bugs. But a house protects from other zachin flying around. That's what a house protects. Yebeischa beis vad l'chachamim is you're keeping out things that are foreign, but you're fully aware that there's emes and there's Torah. I grew up in a home. My father was very, very machshav, the Lubavitcher Rebbe and Rav Shach, who had different opinions. Both of their truths were very welcome in our home. Rav Adi Yosef in my house was Kodesh Kodashim. My father spoke in awe about Rav Adi. Yes. And the tzedkus and the Torah was welcome to my home. Yebeischa beis vad l'chachamim. Make sure your house, it's keeping out sheker, it's not keeping out emes. And to be aware, and it's a meeting place of chachamim. Ideas are welcome. Here, emes is welcome. It's true we have a Messiah. It's not saying a person shouldn't proudly. There was a Messiah, and there were anhagas, and there was a way of anhaga. But yebeischa beis vad l'chachamim. It's a tricky idea because certainly Messiah is very valid. But beischa beis vad l'chacham, it's a meeting place for chachamim. I think a mevakish emes is capable of learning from other people, of seeing good in other people, of being broad. My dream in Eretz Yisrael is a place of ideas and ideals. There's so many idealists. My biggest dream is that there's more conversation in Eretz Yisrael. More people speak, more communities, I want a beischa that's beis vad l'chachamim. We need a very large house that can incorporate them. Mamish, a ravchus that could be a beis vad l'chacham. There are different ideas, and people have such an emes and a light to shine. A bias is to block out sheker, not to block out emes. There's room for chachamim and ideas of chachamim and svarim of chachamim. It's a beis vad l'chachamim. It's interesting when you see a lot of svarim in a house, if you have a very physical look, so you see books. Whoa, you guys have a lot of books. If you have a more pneumiastical look, a lot of svarim, it's fun to check what svarim somebody has. You can meet a person. If a guy's not home, just look at his library. I like seeing, is it a beis vad l'chachamim? When I see certain range of svarim, what a dude. It's a beis vad l'chachamim. Here, emes is welcome. Here, there's that doesn't mean you'll see certain svarim are more used than other svarim. He has a Messiah beseder, but it's a beis vad l'chachamim. Emes is not shut out here. Yeah, there's room. There's room for MS, and MS is studied and entertained and thought about. So there's Are we right, Shlomo, that we don't do music here during Sfira?
Hard to know.
Are we right, Yishai? Today's the 18th day of the Omer, so we're almost there, Yishai. But are we right? You think we're right?
About what?
That we don't have Shlomo play a song or two. We are right, Rebezi?
Yeah.
Sfira, you can't.
He's smart, you know.
Could Ray present it to?
You smart him not do Sphira? Is that one of the things?
What's the minhag by you, Shlomo? Okay, Yishai. You have to get Yishai to sing also.
Mask.
Yishai has a sick voice.
It does. You knew about that? I thought it was my secret.
Alan singing in his arms.
Really,
Like
Yishai?
everybody enjoys it. Yeah. Went for a solid 30 minutes last night in the shower.
You a Levi, Yishai? Yisrael. I look for the Levim with the good voices. What'd you say? It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Matt Levin definitely is good. He will not be a door guy with me. Levim are either shayarim or shayarim, Yishai. They're either doormen or singers. I have found a lot of good doormen. We're going to have like a very good crew. I'm looking more for the singers. We have to.
No, Rebbe's singing. Rebbe's singing. We'll get doormen, okay? You don't need.
Avi's a Levi, and he could be he'll start some of the songs.
Avi.
Avi Baitler's a
Rebbe's a
Levi.
lady. Okay, so Rebbe, you a doorman or you singing? Is the Rebbe going to sing? You let the Rebbe sing? Oh, you got the door? Bro, sing. Go ahead, belt it out.
Levi.
Sure. Yeah.
Friday Yisrael.
Sure. Sure. No, real lady, I'll let you touch.
Dang, we got some ladies.
Are we doing a Lel Shishi tonight, Shlomo?
The Rebbe does a solo.
Let's do it. Without the guitar. Okay. It works. I love that Chaikel got married on Thursday night and he walked down to Viu Rachamechas.
Unbelievable.
Beautiful. Also the one who sang it just rang on. Shlomo and Yehuda sang it. Thank you, Yehuda. Did your brother also did Ka'ach Seif at one point? He didn't walk down to that. What did he walk down to, Yehuda? Ah, it's beautiful. That's beautiful. Chaver, if we're not going to wait till the Lel Shishi, let's at least do one Barditchev now. Then I have a couple other things I want to say. Yehuda, could you start us off in the Barditchever? Da-da-da-da, Maya, Maya, ya, Maya, ya, 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 ya. Da-da-da-da, Maya, ya, Okay, I want to learn Yisrael. I want to learn 4 words. I'm going to close with these 4 words, but I need the guys to memorize it. With new Revezi, a shtickle, a new, not a new word. It's today's connection to this. Listen, Ellie, I need you to learn 4 words. Did you hit one over? Did you hit one over? Shucks, did you win?
Okay.
That's more important. What was the score? Good fielding. Full 9 inning game, 6-4. 7 inning game, 6-4. Very impressive. What position did you play? Any like ridiculously good catches? Oh no!
So lucky.
You're so lucky. 4 words I want the Chaver to memorize, and I want to talk to you about these 4 words. The 4 words are in the Mishnah. I can't give the name of the Mishnah because there's no exact order, but it's from Hillel. And Hua Ya'imer, Hillel said 4 words, Negid Shema Avad Shemei. Negid Shema Avad Shemei. Say the words, Negid Shema Avad Shemei. Now I like to, Zevi, I want to talk about these 4 words. I want to talk about these 4 words. Viggy, I want to tell you Pshat in 4 words. Michal, you hear the 4 words? Negid Shemeh Avad Shemei. Now the translation, a Nagid, Yeshaya, a Nagid, is a prince. If you make your name princely, you lose your name. What is that? Negid Shemei, if you make your name like princely Avad Shemei, you lose your name. I want to say like this, a super danger. When I look, Baruch Hashem, we were Zeichen, my son found a shidduch, a mishpach, and Baruch Hashem, a wonderful shidduch. By me, what I'm allergic is people presenting with the perfect mishpacha. I don't like when individuals present to a families. We all got our stuff. We're very human. We're souls. Soul here is like a dirty business, complicated. There's a complicated world. The soul here is very complicated. Very. When a person presents only Gid Shmei, I'm like, untainted, perfect, Avid Shmei, you lose your name. When you're when a person's insecure of the human condition, that we're here, we're human, I don't want to say the word dirty, we're human. We're flawed by the nature of a human being. We're human. When a person protects from the humanness, Avad Shemei, they lose their reputation, they lose their name. When a person's overly in places protective of the humanness, then they have no reputation. The reputation is a human being who has complications and all sorts of humanness. In that space that a person can acknowledge their humanness, they can have a name, they can have a reputation. Negid Shmei, when somebody protects it, means they're insecure of their humanness. Avid Shmei, they lose their reputation. One of the places to go is the person who refused to marry Rus. Marrying Rus was complicated. She was a Moavi convert. It's not exactly like a good reputation. What's the man's name who refused to marry her because he thought it was bad for reputation?
Nobody? Anybody?
His name is Pliny. His name is, we don't know his name. Negid Shemei, you're so you're like from the Avid Shemei, you lose your name. We don't know your name. Your name is Pliny. to understand not to be afraid of our humanness, not to be afraid, not to have a negid shemay. So many things people don't do. There's so many things people guard against. I want to say something that I understand. People are afraid to do things for shidduchim. I want to do that. How's that going to sell out there? If I go to this yeshiva, if I take this medication, if I go to a therapy, all different things that people are afraid. This Mishnah talks, negid shemay. If you're protective of your name in ways that don't acknowledge your inhumanness, avid shemay, you lose your name. The best reputation is we're human, and I do what a human being needs to grow. Live your truth. Live your truth. Don't be afraid of your truth. Don't be afraid of your humanness. Don't be afraid of being human. Don't be afraid of it. Really don't be afraid of it. And that's, a reputation matters. Nobody says reputation, toiv, shame, toiv. Reputation matters. Do what, the best thing for reputation is sincerely do what your truth is. Live your truth. Live your truth is the best thing. Ultimately, that's the good reputation. Negid Shemay is a whole approach that a person's like, protects that princely name. Avid Shemay, he loses his name. He literally doesn't have a reputation. People don't know him at all. People don't know her at all. She's overly sensitive and caring in places she shouldn't be. Person lives their truth. Bayaz marries Rus for all eternity. His wife is Ima Shel Malchus. And Bayaz takes his place as the one from him comes David Melech Yisrael. Comes the Mashiach because he was the opposite of Negid Shemay. The opposite was, how was that for reputation? It was his truth. It was his truth. He was a Goyal. He was a redeemer of Rus. And he was the one for us, and he lived his truth. And he lived his truth, and forever he has a Shmei. His name stands for all eternity. Live our truth. I'm not mocking somebody. There's so many things that we're afraid to do. How's that going to play? And by the way, he might lose. Somebody may say no. Person does many truths. It could damage the shidduch. Mamish could. And somebody will say nobody's like promising it won't damage. I like saying we're not looking for shidduchim, we're looking for shidduch. His shidduch, it won't hurt. Somebody will say, no, it's true. Somebody will say, no. But if it's his truth, it's her truth, do your truth. Do your truth. Reputation matters. Reputation's important. There's something called reputation. But negid shemay, when a person puts it in places it shouldn't be put, they're like pampering their name, protecting it at times they shouldn't be. That's a negid shemay. Protective of the name in place they shouldn't. That's a sure place. Avid shemay. The person loses their name. The humanness is not to be afraid of our humanness and to live our truth and to do our truth. And it doesn't say to ignore reputation. There's something called reputation. There's something called the best place for reputation is a soul in a human body that lives their truth and does their truth. The reputation takes care. The shame to follow such a person. That's like a geder of Bareich Menakavod. But I like those 4 words, Yishai, a lot. Because the way I understand those 4 words, if somebody had a different shot, to me it's the Pashup shot. Hillel taught Negid Shemay, Avid Shemay. It's interesting because reputation, a shame type matters. Nobody's saying to purposely hurt a good reputation. Nobody's saying not to think about a good reputation. It is said that if something's MS for a person, don't be a negid shmei type of person. It's like above all truths. Avid shmei, that's a loss of name. Pliny, we don't know who he is, was overly protective of his reputation. He had a truth. He was supposed to marry her. Reputation, if he does his truth, Bayaz did quite well. Bayaz stands the test of time. He lived his truth. He did his truth. He'll have a very good name. He has a very good name. It's not a problem. I had a funny story with Moshe Zevi. I'm very intrigued in Kedushin. So there was an Amram Chassid. I'm ending with this Negid Shmei, Avid Shmei, Daniel. There was a Yid of Amram Chassida. Rav Amram Chassida, Amram the Chassid, he had ladies lived upstairs, and he was going to do an Avera. He was climbing a ladder and going to do an Avera. To go upstairs to do an Avera, this big tzaddik. and he didn't want to do the Averis. He started screaming, fire, fire, fire. He like called Atzalah Pashut. And people, he said, Nura Amra, there's a fire in Amra's house, and the whole house got full of people. People came to the house, and it was full of people. Now, when people came to his house, everybody understood what happened. He's on the ladder, and people knew upstairs there were nashim, and it was very understandable. He was about to do an avera. You were able to pick out his talmidim. Now you knew which one was talmidim. The ones were red as tomatoes. Can you imagine your whole life you're talking about your Rebbe, your Rebbe, your people? My Rebbe, my Rebbe, my Rebbe. And they come to the house in the middle of the night with the whole block, the whole community. He's standing on a ladder. He had sounded the alarms, and he's going up to do an Avera. And his Rebbe's up there, and the Talmidim are red. They're like, Rebbe, had you embarrassed us? They said to him, Rebbe, you embarrassed us. You hurt our reputation. Rebbe, you're killing us. You're killing us. Look, you called out fire. You're killing us. You're embarrassing me. You're mamish embarrassing me. But I love Amram Chasidah. Live your truth. Do your truth. Do your truth. Ultimately, Amram Chasidah for all eternity is known as Amram Chasidah. He has a very good reputation. It's called Amram the Chassid, Lefnim Mishur Sadin. I was with my son in Tzvat, and we found Amram Chasidah's kever.
And on fire.
What?
It was on fire.
And it was a fire, it's true. There was a fire there. When we were in Tzvat, there was a fire there. Some of the kvaros got, there was a fire there. And Mia Maishi poured out her heart. We davened by the kever. We davened by Amram Chasidah's kever. We only found out later it's a different Amram Chasidah. I was suspicious because it said like the Rav somewhere. It said Amram Chasidah. I think it could be I even said to Maishi, I'm so shocked. We know what city he was Rav over. Because it said Amram Chasidah Rav. But I want to say something that it's cool. We just saw his name. He has such a good name. The opposite, Negid Shemei, Avid Shemei. We were praising another Amram Chasidah. The name lives for all eternity. There's another tzaddik named Amram Chasidah. We only found out later. It's a different Amram Chasidah. If you ever by the Basayin's kever, which is, it's right near the Basayin. The Basayin's in a cave underground, and literally pretty close. Right, it was very close to the Basayins of Amram Chasidah. Yekadavne, who's probably a big tzaddik, but it's not this Amram Chasidah. But forever his name is important, Amram Chasidah.
Love it.
Because he actually did his truth. And the Talmidim were embarrassed. It's like so embarrassing. But he didn't do the sin. He didn't do the sin, and he lived his truth. How it plays out for the whole tzibur, live your truth. Live your truth. Does it always play? Now, I'm not saying to ignore reputation. I'm not saying that a person won't get a no in a shidduch, but I am saying the klal is do your truth. If your truth is to do something, if you have to decide your truth, then you'll have a good reputation. The ones Amram Chasidah for all eternity is called the Chassid. Ask him, Daniel?
Yeah, I like that story a lot.
So do
Maybe
I.
it's a condition, right?
Yeah, very good.
I saw that. It says he picked up a ladder that 10 people couldn't.
Yeah,
Who's
very
like-
good, very good, very good, very good.
Power of Taiva.
He's Jack.
No, the power of Taiva. It's a crazy Taiva. I like that story.
He was chilling after, right? Like everybody was still down for it.
He came in with fire.
One of the guys said, his Talmidim said, you embarrassed us. One of the Chaver here said, that's the Rebbe I'd learn by.
Yeah.
His truth. His truth. Me and Yishai would run to learn by such a Rebbe, right? The emes. His truth. We'll start for now, Chaver. We will start Second Seder today at 5 o'clock. We're going to begin Second Seder. The Mustama bi Chavrusa Tumul. But we're going to start Shleisha Shachlu, the 7th parak Shleisha Shachlu. Yashikar Chabais.
So we're gonna learn. Where's Avi?
I love that everybody picked up was
Are you going? You wanted it?
I have experience.